Hi, welcome back to ODE YouTube channel. Today I'm going to review another fountain pen. This time it comes from Germany and it is a Graf von Faber-Castell pen. I have so many pens coming into my collection that some pens that I have here for a long time are already without a review, so I guess it is time to do it. So let me show you the pen. I have it inside this box. This is a spare box that a store gave me, but the pen, I think it may come in a similar box like this, but the pen I bought was bought in a used condition and it came with no box. And this is the pen. Let me take this out of the way and let's take a look. So the pen that I'm showing you today is the Graf von Faber-Castell Classic Ebony. So it means this wooden part is made of ebony wood. This is an older style of this pen because it is silver plated here on the cap and also on the top, on the end of the barrel. And the newer versions are platinum plated, which means they do not have this kind of patina, oxidation, as the silver has. And I find this quite beautiful. I hope you can see it well on camera. This pen was bought, it was with this kind of patina. I cleaned it, I did not polish it, so it still has this same kind of patina, and it has the wood barrel. This pen, I guess it was kept in maybe in a dry place, very hot place, I don't know, and there the barrel even cracked there. I think you can see. So one thing that the wood has a little crack there. So one thing that I did along the way when I bought the pen was sometimes I put some hand cream here just to kind of moisturize the wood, and I think now it looks better, and I think with use it also looks better, but the damage there is done. There is a crack on the wood on the barrel. However, it doesn't affect the writing experience in any way, and I think this is really a nice and interesting pen. So let's take a look at how the pen is made. So we have a cylindrical pen with a fluted wooden barrel with a metal end cap that has a little step down, and there is nothing happening here on the bottom. You just have a little knurled part there. On the top of the barrel have the same, on the top of the cap, sorry, you have a concave, here it is convex, there it is concave, and like a dish, and it has also a knurled part there. Then you have a clip that is quite springy. As you may see, it is spring-loaded and it comes very far from the cap, which is nice. The cap is also cylindrical, except for this part. I would call it like a crown. It flares out like a crown. And there is kind of a cap band, not really a cap band, it just has a line there to separate the cap lip from the rest of the cap, and it says there Graf von Faber-Castell, as I think you can read, and there it says Germany. I think you can read it. So that's it. There's not much more on the outside. Then the cap unscrews and maybe 3/4 of a turn to unscrew, and you have a very long shiny section. I found the section is not tarnishing like the other metal parts. I wonder if this part is not silver plated and it is platinum plated, or it was just an addition, a later addition to the pen. I'm not sure, but this is not as tarnished as the other part. It is very shiny, and you have this hourglass shaped, but very slightly, section, which is quite thin, I would say, and you have the threads there. The threads are not, you can say they are kind of sharp, but you have lots of section room there to put your fingers. And then it has this black kind of ring, which is of the nib unit that screws off if you want to take it out. And you have an 18 karat gold nib with the coat of arms of Graf von Faber-Castell, which I would say it is a little different from the current version of this same nib. Let me get it. I have here a Faber-Castell Intuition, which has the same kind of nib, but with, let's call it a simpler coat of arms. If you look at it, the fields of the coat of arms are the same, so it is the same coat of arms, but there is some differences. This one on the left is simpler, and it has that crown on the top. So, this pen is not for review today. This is it. The pen, the barrel unscrews, long threads. Although the pen is made of wood, the part of the threads is made of metal here, also metal inside, that threads into the metal section, so it's metal with metal, not wood with metal, and it has a Graf von Faber-Castell converter, which is the kind of international size. So you can fit cartridges or converters from the international size with no trouble, which is nice, a nice feature. And this is what I have to show you about the pen. It's just this, and this is, you can see here the feed, the nib. It is a great pen, I would say. Some comments about this before the writing sample. First, the pen costs around 500 euros, so it's not an inexpensive pen. Maybe in the US, if you buy from Europe, it becomes cheaper because of the VAT, but then you have to add your costumes and something. So I'm sticking with the price that you can get in Europe for European buyers, which means it is around 500 euros. I will leave a link below to Apple Boom where you can buy the pen if you want. And here you have a shiny section, which may be a problem for some because you can find it slippery. I don't, but I usually don't have problems with shiny metal sections. I have to say that, however, the section is a little bit too thin for me. I would prefer a shorter and larger and thicker section. That is one point. Another point of the pen is that all the pen is overall on the thinner side. I would say it's more like a pencil, and it has also the kind of the pencil texture, so it makes sense for what it is, but I see that this pen may not be for every kind of users. There are people that prefer girthier pens, and this is not a girthy pen at all. I was just changing the light here. Maybe it is a little too bright now, but okay. And the other thing that I found is that you can post this pen. This pen posts really securely. The cap will not go anywhere, but it becomes too top heavy if you put the pen here in a position that you would write, and if you let it go, it will fall backwards because the cap is made of metal and it is too heavy. The pen is on the heavier side, but it is not a heavy pen. I would not say that. It's just a little bit heavier, and it is nice to have that kind of feel in your hands. I find it interesting. About the overall quality, I think this is a good quality. Graf von Faber-Castell is well known for making pens out of wood, and I think this is a beautiful, very classic and classy fountain pen, and I think this looks great in your desk. If you have a desk made of wood with a wooden desk base to put the pens and inkwells, I think it would be great. Now, let's go for some comparisons with other pens. Let's start with the usual comparison, which is the Parker Centennial Dufold. Let's put it like this way, it's easier. The Parker Centennial Dufold and the Lamy Safari. This is not Safari, this is a LX Ruthenium, and you see the pen is of the same size, but it is slimmer. It is even slimmer than the Lamy. When you unscrew the Parker, you uncap the Lamy and you unscrew the cap on the Faber-Castell, you'll see that the nib on the Faber-Castell is kind of on a smaller side. And what I have to tell you about this, it could be bigger, yes, it is kind of a number 5 nib, it could be a number 6 nib, but for the size of the pen, I don't really think it is that out of proportion. You can see on the Parker Dufold you have a much thicker section, so it would be strange to have a smaller nib, but in this pen I think it could be bigger, but I think it's quite okay as it is. Now, I just want to show it next to another wood pen from my collection, and I would say it is quite different. This is the Montegrappa Fortuna Heartwood Dark Teak. This pen has finish in bronze and it has dark teak wood, and when you uncap it they are quite different, but just to show it next to another wooden pen. And also I want to show it next to two pens from the same brand. Graf von Faber-Castell is the higher end of the brand, but there are the Faber-Castell pens, which is the lower end of the same company. And here is a resin pen, and you can see there is some kind of style. There's some kind of style unity, I would say. You can see that the pens have something in common, the little metal piece, but this one has a long section, this one has not. This is the Faber-Castell Ambition, the same size of nib. By the way, you can unscrew the nibs from this one and put that there, this and vice versa. This is a steel nib, this is a gold nib, but they are interchangeable. And I want also to show you the Faber-Castell Intuition. And in my opinion, let me take the Ambition out of the way now, and in my opinion the Intuition is more on the same kind of style of this one. Even the clip is of the same style. I think it's quite inspired, but it has a different idea, because this has no section and this has a very long section. But the nib on both is the same size, and if you ask me, yes, in the Intuition the nib should be bigger for this size of pen. But these are beautiful nibs, they write well, and these are really great pens. So now let's go for the writing sample. And so here we are with our pen and our paper, and the pen is the... Okay, it skipped a little bit because I'm filming this all in sequence, and this was unkept for a long time while I was showing the pen, but it usually writes well. This is the Graf von Faber-Castell. classic ebony with a fine gold nib. The paper where I'm writing is the usual Rhodia.pad. Now you see it was uncapped, so it skipped a little bit, but now you can see the ink flow. It writes perfectly well. This was very understandable. I know. I should have stopped the video, just clean the nib to take out the dry ink and write again, but I wanted to do all in one take, so you can see there is some... These two words are not well. The ink that is inside is the Graf von Faber-Castell hazelnut brown. I don't usually like reddish browns, but this is quite a nice brown, I think. I don't think this is too bad. I like the way it writes and the way it behaves. So, as you see, this is a good pen, and it has a really good nib. The nib on these pens tend to be more on the stiff side, but you can see you can still have some line variation if you press, but please be very careful because these pens were not made to be flex. This is a fine nib, and I would say this is really a true fine. I would not say this is too thick. And about the smear test, you see the kind of flow for a fine nib. I think this is great. I think this pen has a really, really good nib. About reverse writing, you have a little feedback and it writes well, maybe with an extra fine line, and in the regular way it writes with the fine line that I talked to you about, and it is very, very smooth, almost with zero feedback. The Faber-Castell and the Graf von Faber-Castell nibs are usually perfect in that way. They are perfectly tuned, and the same if you're talking about these top of the range pen. I would say this is the flagship pen of the Graf von Faber-Castell, and the same is true for these kind of pens that are much cheaper. They have really, really good nibs. They have a really good quality control. So this is all I had to show you. I have to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing this great pen. This is a great, if you like pens on the slimmer side, this pen will be perfect for a long period of writing. For me, it's good for some writing, not for extended periods, because I prefer thicker pens. But if this is the kind of pen if you like slimmer pens but with some weight and very, very good quality, this is an amazing pen. This really is one of the best performing pens that I have in my collection. Maybe not my favorite, but one of the best performing pens. And this is why I bought it, because it was quite inexpensive in used condition, and because I just need to have these in my collection. I think it makes sense because it is really, really good, and also because it is not that well treated by the age. I think it is even more beautiful. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll meet again soon. Bye!